A warm welcome to the Principles of Management online session, Module 6, Leadership and Control. In this chapter, we will be dealing with leadership, one of the main functions of management. So, who is a leader? When can we say that a person has leadership? Leader is a person who has the ability to induce the subordinates to work with confidence and zeal and accomplish the goals of an organization. And we can say he has leadership when he alters the mental feelings or alters the feelings of a subordinate in accordance to his will. That is the leader's will, without exerting the negative motivation. So, leadership is the potential to influence the behavior of others. It is also defined as the capacity to influence a group towards the realization of a specific goal of the organization or the organization has. According to Kate Davis, leadership is the ability to persuade others to seek defined objectives enthusiastically. It is the human factor which brings a group together and motivates it towards differentiation between leader and a manager. The main differentiation between a leader and a manager is the one who works for somebody else. He has that power through a position. A leader is someone who comes into that position or who has exerted influence on people through his achievements or his personality traits. So, looking deeply into the differences, manager is more than a leader, hence management is a wider term. And manager is not just leader, he does every function right from planning till end. He controls the whole organization. A leader need not be a manager. Leadership is a narrow term. Yes, the leadership term is very narrow. His function only limits to the function of inducing people. Second, a manager fits well in an organized structure. A manager fits into an organization or its structure. Beyond that, he doesn't has any rights. That is, you have a top official. Yeah, you respect them even they go out of the organization, but it is not necessary that we will hear whatever they say after they have left the organization. But a leader on the other side can be from an informal group. He has exerted power through his charisma, so he has more influencing power than a manager. A manager exercises different functions of management to achieve group goals. A leader exerts influence on people to voluntarily achieve the group goals. Authority of manager stems from the position he has or from the delegation of authority from the top management. A leader earns his authority by virtue of his skills, knowledge, or traits. To be a successful manager, one has to be a good leader. And to be a leader, it doesn't mean they have to be a manager. Traits theory. Traits theory is of an assumption that leaders are born, and due to this belief, it believes that those who possess the correct qualities and traits are better suited to be a leader. The trait theory of leadership is based on the characteristics of many leaders, both successful and unsuccessful, and is used to predict the leadership effectiveness. The trait leadership theory believes that people are either born or are made with certain qualities that will make them excel in the leadership roles. The trait theory of leadership focused on analyzing mental, physical, and social characteristics in order to gain more understanding of what is the characteristic or combination of characteristics that are common among leaders. Some of the most common leadership traits are knowledge of the business, charisma, initiative, emotional intelligence, energy, flexibility, creativity, confidence. contingency theory. According to this approach, no single psychological profile or set of enduring traits links directly to effective leadership. Instead, interaction between those individual traits and the prevailing condition is what creates effective leadership. The contingency leadership theory argues that there is no single way of leading and that every leadership style should be based on certain situations, which signifies that there are certain people who perform at the maximum level in certain places but at minimum performance when taken out of their element. To a certain extent, contingency leadership theories are extensions of the trait theory, in sense that human traits are related to a situation in which leaders exercise their leadership. Dimensions of leadership. First one, pioneering. A leader should be dynamic, charismatic, and adventurous. Second, energizing. He should be outgoing, encouraging, and spontaneous. Third, affirming. He should be somebody who is approachable, friendly, and positive. Fourth, inclusive. He should be patient, accepting, and diplomatic. Fifth, humble. He should be a soft-spoken and precise and modest one. 6. Deliberate. He should be systematic, analytical, and cautious. 7. Resolute. He should be rational, challenging, and determined. 8. Commanding. He should be assertive, competitive, and driven. Leadership styles: transformation leadership, transactional servant leadership, autocratic laissez-faire leadership, democratic leadership, bureaucratic leadership, charismatic leadership, and situational leadership. Transformational leadership typically inspires staff by creating an environment of intellectual stimulation. Transactional leadership establishes a clear chain of command utilizing a characteristic approach. Servant leadership prefers power-sharing models of authority and encourages collective decision-making. Autocratic leadership has significant control over staff, rarely considers worker suggestions. Laissez-faire leadership, characterized by their hands-off approach, allowing employees to get on with tasks as they see fit. Democratic leadership, participative leadership. Leaders ask often for input from the team members before making any final decisions. Bureaucratic leadership, implemented in highly regulated environment with strict adherence to rules are important. Charismatic leadership relies heavily on the positive charm and personality of the leader in question. Situational leadership, a theory that the best leaders utilize a range of different styles depending on the environment. Controlling. It helps to check the errors and to take the corrective action so that deviation from the standards are minimized and stated goals of the organizations are achieved. It ensures that the activities in an organization are performed as per plans. It also ensures that an organization's resources are being effectively and efficiently used for the achievement of predetermined goals. Control process. The control process involves carefully collecting information about a system, process, person, or group of people in order to make necessary decisions about each. Managers set up control system that consists of 4 key steps. Establish a standard to measure performance. That is, within an organization's overall strategic plan, managers define goals for organizational departments in specific organizational terms that include standards of performance to compare with the organizational activities. Second, measure actual performance. Most organizations prepare formal reports of performance measurement that managers review regularly. These measurements should be related to the standards set in the first step of control process. Third, compare performance with the standards. This step compares the actual activities to the performance standards. When managers read computer reports or walk through their plans, they identify whether actual performance meets, exceeds, or falls short of standards. Typically, performance reports simplify such comparison by placing the performance standards for reporting period alongside actual performance for the same period and by computing the variance. Take corrective actions. When performance deviates from standards, managers must determine what changes, if any, are necessary and how to apply them. In the productivity and quality-centered environment, workers and managers are often empowered to evaluate their own work. After the evaluation, the evaluator determines the cause of deviation. He or she can take a first step, that is, the corrective action. Resistance to control. Whenever somebody exerts control, there will be a resistance to control, and the difficulty to control or insert a new change in the organization is called resistance to control. There are many ways to overcome resistance to control. First one, create effective control. Perhaps the best way to overcome resistance to control is to create effective control to begin with. If control systems are properly integrated with an organization's planning system, and if the controls are subsequently flexible, accurate and timely and objective-oriented, the organization is unlikely to fall prey to the problems of over-control. Second, encourage participation. Moreover, employee participation in management can help overcome resistance to change. In a like manner, when employees are involved with planning and implementation of control system, they are less likely to resist it. Using MBO, management by objective. MBO also overcome employee resistance to control. When properly used, employees help establish their own goal or standards. They also know in advance that their rewards will be based on the extent to which they achieve and maintain those goals and standards. Fourth, checks and balances. Control in management can be exerted through checks and balances as well. And the way to overcome employee resistance to control is maintaining a system of checks and balances. Multiple standards and information system provides checks and balances for control. Resistance declines because this system of checks and balances serves to protect employees as well as the management. Control as a feedback system. Control in management system helps to regularly examine the process it is in charge of in order to make changes that will improve its output efficiency. Many business operations that include modern manufacturing facilities have implemented feedback control system to monitor the tune the production processes. This picture shows the feedback loop of management control. Feedback control system. A feedback system measures a value in a process and reacts to the change in the value measured. In a feedback control system, controller takes control action only after the process variables and disturbance affects the process, and the control action is also given to the process directly, which is given in feed-forward control.